Distorted despair, having you with me, took it all away.
Hi everyone. So first off, I'm talking low because all my family's asleep right now, so I gotta be real quiet. And second of all, oh my gosh, I actually got my first request, so I'm all like this. But I can't really do that because everyone's asleep. But I got my first request, so thank you, Naomi Kaye. You asked if I could do a video on anime that should become games and games that should become anime. Now, that is such a hard request to do because, in all honesty, there are a lot of games that should become anime and vice versa. But because I only have so much time in a day and only so many videos I can make in a day, I decided I'm just going to do one video with some of the things I really want happen. Like, these are priority A at the end of the day. So, let's begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is games. Now, games becoming anime is actually done a lot, like Sengoku Basara and stuff like that, but for whatever reason people have never made an anime for A.N.I.M.E. I don't know why. I mean, it's just a very wonderful, heartfelt story. It has interesting art and interesting concept, and on top of that, everybody knows about it. Walk up to a bunch of people who like RPG Maker and tell them you do not like A.N.I.M.E. You do not understand what A.N.I.M.E. is. You do not know what A.N.I.M.E. is, and you will get this reaction. Because A.N.I.M.E. is just so amazing and interesting. Now, I'm trying not to fangirl over it, but in all honesty, the concept is interesting. It's about a young girl who gets trapped into a museum, and things begin happening. Now, it's not like Nyad's museum. It's more like a bunch of people going around and killing the poor girl, and the people she ends up meeting there. Yeah, it's a really twisted place. But it is a very interesting story. It makes you wonder, is this just a tale about a girl growing up, or is it what it tries to show you at face value, or is it about Gary having to come to grips with something that is not really shown, or is this actually Mary's dream? Mary is the real one, even Gary or not. So when you sit down and think about it in that way, it just becomes more and more interesting, and it's a great, a wonderful thing to turn into an anime because it makes you question it at every single turn. Why have you not made it into an anime, you would make a ton of money, people. But at any rate, let's move on. Another game that should become an anime has to be Final Fantasy XII. It is a very long, very drawn-out RPG game. It makes a lot of games that you can sit there and play for a decade actually seem like you can only play it for a couple of days. Final Fantasy XII has a lot of extra add-ons. It makes the Naruto fillers look like baby steps. This game is just long and drawn out, and that is what makes it perfect for anime. The story itself is huge, long. It steals from 3 good Star Wars movies. It steals from Tolkien. It steals from just all the best sources and bundles it all up together to create a perfect harmony of a storyline. At first, we think it's the story about Vaughn growing up into this world of war and strained peace and colonialism. But instead, it slowly takes him into the backseat. Now we have these important people, like a young princess who wants to become a queen, a sky pirate with daddy issues, and rabbit people. It is all just so amazing, and the music is perfect. You don't even have to sit there and create your own music. You can sit there and just steal the music from the game and plop it into the anime. It would last for at least 2 seasons, and it would be wonderful and not the least bit drawn out, in my opinion. But who knows? Probably won't happen. After all, they're taking forever to sit there and redo Final Fantasy VII. Moving on.
Before your challenge really begins, build, explore, and grow your way to a brand new sun under a familiar moon. Harvest Moon, the Lost Valley.
You know, Harvest Moon has just been such a huge thing. I mean, they had Harvest Moon, then they had Innocent Life, and then they had Rune Factory. It's just all these different things that are just so interesting. And it's basically the same concept. Guy comes to a farm place, he raises crops, gets a woman, gets a harem, ends up marrying the first girl he likes, and they have a family, game ends. Somewhere along the line, he of course saves the village. But it is still a fun concept, because whether it's a fantasy version, a futuristic version, or just a plain old good old Harvest Moon, it's just a fun game, and it is perfect for an anime. I mean, having the harem aspect, you can have the sci-fi aspect with the harem aspect, or you can have the harem aspect with the fantasy aspect, and all together tied with farming. It would be such a refreshing anime, in my opinion, as long as they tone down this fan service to make it more heartfelt and cute, because in my opinion, Harvest Moon with a bunch of pointless fan service would just be irritating to me for whatever reason. Probably because I've been playing Harvest Moon since I was a wee little child. You have all these parts already there to create a wonderful anime. In a lot of them you have interesting music, and a lot of them you already have conflict. So if you wanted to, you didn't even have to sit there and create an own original story. You could take, for example, Rune Factory Ties of Destiny. That in itself would be a wonderful anime. It wouldn't even have to be just guy to girl harem. You could sit there and go girl to guy harem. It would just work out either way, and in all honesty, you have all these elements together. There are really no excuses why they haven't made this kind of anime yet. And personally, I would just love it. I would sit there and buy a collector box set because it would be that amazing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to anime that really should become games. Now, this is a little harder to do because a lot of these anime already have games. For example, Soul Eater. I would kill to sit there and have a Soul Eater game. But because it's not really up to me on what anime gets games, and this is my opinion, here it is. So if it does have a game of some sort already, I apologize in advance. I had no idea that even existed, but I would love it if you would have told me earlier. Anyway, here are anime that really should have games. You, my friend, should have seen this coming. The fact that Noragami is about a god, a girl with a cat tail, and a spirit becoming a sword is awesome. The fact that you can sit there and kill the phantoms and then have a lot of other things going on is equally awesome. It can sit there and switch between POVs. It can sit there and allow you to fight. And you have two different kinds of classes technically, because you have the sword class and then you have the hand-to-hand combat class that is Yato and Hiyori. It wouldn't make up for a very good game. However, of course, because people will scream that it is based off of Soul Eater, I highly doubt they would ever do that. But still, it would make for a very fun game. You can sit there and have your relationship meter that you would have to build up between Yato and Hiyori and Yukine. And it would all be a very interesting game to have all these sorts of mechanics. The fact that if Hiyori's body is left behind, then her health could start vanishing or something. You have all these mechanics at your disposal, people. Don't give me credit for it. Just make me an origami game. Moving on. I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? The fact that I sat there and had Watamote as a game, you're probably wondering, what would you do with Watamote game? Let me tell you, it would be the anti-dating sim. You would sit there and you would be trying to sit there and get with a guy, but instead you're not. That was kind of the whole point of Watamote. It's just her pathetic, can't relate to human beings kind of aspect to her, except for her brother. But we are not having incest here. Instead, it would be just her trying to build up relationships with other people. You would have cutscenes from the anime. In general, it would be the anti-relationship sim, and it would just be so much fun to play. But you would probably have to cope with the fact that she would almost always fail. You could have little mini games where, for example, she tries to be like the bartender girl, or you could have other mini games where she tries to sit there and make up a club and you have to get people to join the club, but they fail. Because when you have this, you could have it even though she's speaking to a person and she's doing this. In the end, she could really be thinking this. So it would just be such a fun game to have, to sit there and being able to go from her imagination to reality and playing this game, because there are just so many things and facets to Tomoko that even though it would seem boring because she's very quiet, she's very shy, she's very insecure, her mind is very active and is almost always pulsating with thoughts and ideas. So by having it mostly in her mind that we're actually playing, and then showing her mishaps of how her mind is buckled down, it would still make for a good game. So you could have either two of those ideas and it would still be a fun game. And I would buy it. I'd buy, like, pre-order it and get myself, I don't know, her in cosplay. That would be so adorable. Moving on. So I always wondered if they actually had a Magical Girl video game. Having grown up on Magical Girls, and those being my very first type of anime, I always just wondered if they had those types of games, and apparently they don't. So I thought it would always be fun if you could sit there and have a game based off of Magical Girls. But however, since Magical Girls back then were always just these glitzy girls with the horrible stock animation, I kind of thought that it was just something you couldn't have. However, I was proven wrong when they created Puella Madoka Magica. Now with that, because there's violence, there's gore, and there's stuff like that, and you actually fight, it would create for a very good game where the girl, not necessarily Madoka, since there's a lot of different violent-ish magical girl games, you could have it where she transforms. It's your job to keep it a secret, or if it's not that particular anime where it's such a big desire for the girl to keep it a secret, it's your job to sit there and balance life between fighting crime and monsters and your relationships. There are a lot of magical girl anime now where the people outside of her little circle of magical girls are actually important. So by having it sort of part battle system, part relationship sim, it would be very interesting. By having it where the transformation scenes, you can do those and interact with them and everything, would also be interesting. So by having it part relationship sim, part battle system, that would make for one very good game. However, if you weren't going to do it that way and you want to eliminate the family altogether, you can have it simply battle system. That would also be amazing. Having her constantly having to battle, having the girls constantly having to battle, and doing the things that need to be done by having a sanity meter in the, like, especially with Puella Madoka Magica, would be amazing. In fact, if we're just talking about Puella Madoka Magica, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, so someone in the comments let me know and tell me what an idiot I am. But having it where you have a sanity meter, you have a relationships meter, and you also have to sit there and have a life meter, would just be so much fun having juggled these 3 meters. Am I putting too much pressure on my magical girl? Am I sitting there and I'm not fighting enough crime? Am I not healing properly? That would just be revolutionary in my opinion. But that's all that I can really come up with right now, and that's all I really have time to do. So those are 3 anime that I want into games, and 3 games I really, really want into anime. I mean, seriously, people, why have you not made an anime? So if you liked this video, if you liked any of the anime, if you liked any of the games, or if you just like my shower curtain, please click the like button below. And if you had any ideas for what could become anime, what become game, then let me know in the comment section. And also let me know what you would like to do next. Would you like some kind of, I don't know, rant? Would you like another review? I actually have one coming up, guys. Or would you like me to sit there and have a breakdown of my first impression on things? Now, I'm not talking about like sitting there and going, oh, well, I like this about the first season of Free or something. I'm talking about I had no idea what something was about. I just looked at the cover and I said, I thought it was this. Come on, you've had those same kind of reactions too. Don't look at me that way. So let me know in the comments below. And so you know that I actually kept my promise, then please click the subscribe button below, because then it all comes into your mailbox and everything is all good and you know that I got everything. And I'm kind of repeating myself. So I'm just going to let you go on that note. See you around, guys.
Put some honey here to leer it with no kindness left in her soul. Was a single rose of deep yellow. Promise that we'll stay here together for always. Let's commit to this fate. La 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 la.
into the dark. Then I only asked that you would keep me among the drawings deep within your heart.